Hi everybody, Robin here at Toadstool Tarot, and I've been having fun lately attempting hashtag challenges, and I saw one on a new, for me, channel last week. It was by Benny at The Fool's Apprentice, and he came up with this one. He didn't exactly have the title hashtagged, but so I'm going to kind of put a tag on it so people can respond easier, and it will be hashtag 5 to save from a fire. Now, the idea of this hashtag, I know this is going to be really painful for a lot of you out there in TarotTube land, more so than for me. I'm not as obsessive about my decks and holding on to them, and they do change from time to time, even though I have favorites. But the basic idea is your house catches on fire. You only have enough time to grab 5 decks. You know you have 10 favorite decks, so it's a Sophie's choice, sort of which 5 do you take and which do you painfully say goodbye to as you're leaving the house. And the other caveat is these have to last you for the rest of your life, because it's a sort of apocalyptic setup where these are irreplaceable. You can't go out and buy them again. You can't find them anywhere again. So you have to find 5 in your collection that give you all you need and that you love using so much that you couldn't be without them. You have to have that 5. Now, I know this is going to be really hard for a lot of you in terms of whittling them down to 5. For me, I think I could do it probably in 3. However, I did pull, I think, 11 decks that I started off with and eliminated one right away. So I have my 10, and I'm going to whittle them down and tearfully say goodbye to 5 of them and hold on to the other 5. And this is how it goes. And I challenge you to give this a try. I know it's going to be tough, but I think you can do it. Of course, this is where I stand right now. Given another day or other circumstances, it might change a little bit, but right now, these are the top 5 that I would save from a burning house, never to be rebought again. So, from the top 10 down, not particularly in order, but we'll go in the order I have here. The first one I tearfully have to say goodbye to is one that I enjoy very much. It's the Tarot for All Ages. And I really love the colorful, playful, childlike quality of this deck. I haven't used it very much lately, which maybe shoves it down on the list a bit. Also, it's not cardstock I'm particularly fond of. It's that weird kind of matte cardstock that's on the stiff side. And also, I think the cards are a little bit... Do I have a comparative card here? I feel like they're a little larger than tarot size. Well, actually not by much. They're pretty close. But I prefer smaller cards, so... So, yeah, as much as I love these, I think, considering I haven't used them in a few months now, that probably signifies to me that I could live without them. So that is the tarot for all ages. The next one I'm going to say goodbye to is the Trick or Tarot. And I just had this out recently because I think of all the Halloween decks I have, and I did a little walkthrough of those recently. This is the one that I enjoy using the most around Halloween. It's a nostalgic deck. And these also are matte stock, which I don't mind. This actually glides really well, and the cards aren't that thick, so they're pretty flexible. This one is like vintage collaged imagery, and there's a lot to look at in each card. And I love the darkness of the deck, and yet it's filled with bright colors as well, and it's nostalgic, and it just like reminds me of all the like little treats around Halloween and Halloween themed collectibles and things. And it's fun to work with, but because I only use it during October around Halloween, I wouldn't get much use out of it the rest of the year. So I have to tearfully say farewell to the Trick or Treat Tarot. Sorry, Trick or Tarot it's called. So we got rid of 10, we got rid of 9. Oh, the next one, this is a little bit tough because this is very recent, and I love this, and I still use it. This is the, well, I'm calling it the Surreal Tarot. I love the coloring on it. Again, it's got that weird sort of matte cardstock. It's not too thick, though. And it glides pretty well. And this one, oops, I had it upside down. Did I have it upside down? Yes, that's the right way up, so it's not reversible. And this one, I love the coloring in it. And I've been enjoying using it because some of the imagery isn't readily identifiable as the label on the card, but I can sort of like daydream into it a little bit and pick up on the meaning through the label of the card. And so as a tarot deck, it's not the best, perhaps, but the coloring and design of the artwork is more of a shading or an atmosphere around the meanings of the cards than it is descriptive of what those cards are. Some more than others. But I will miss the beautiful, like, late summer, autumn, fall colors. And so, anyway, since I got to get down to 5, this one's got to go. The Surreal Tarot, also known as the Dali Tarot, but that's sort of an inaccurate name. Found it on Etsy. All these you can see walked through on my channel. The next one, this is really hard to let go. This is Tearfully. This should be in my top 5, but I had others that were stronger for me at the moment, so this one didn't quite make the cut. And this is the Little Monsters Tarot. And I absolutely love this. It's black and white. I love the fine line work and the figures on it. I'm not sure how well the camera is going to pick up on them. This camera's not real sharp. But it's just, it's so whimsical, and I really, really enjoy it. But again, I have others I'm currently using more than I'm using this one at the moment, and that's tough because those shift and change. So who knows, 3 months, 5 months down the line, I might wish that, you know, this was still in those top 5. But realistically speaking, I'm not getting rid of any of these. I'm just trying to focus down to 5 that I would take from a burning building. So that's the Little Monsters Tarot. And this came in 2 sizes, and this was the original one, the smaller version, which I'm thrilled to have been able to get hold of. I also have the larger one. So, bye-bye. The last of the, this would be number 6, I guess, working backwards. This is the Enchanted Len Norman, which is my favorite of all my Len Norman decks, but I rarely use Len Norman. So even though I don't have any other Len Normans in my top 5, I think I could let go of all of them in favor of regular tarot. I enjoy Len Norman, but it's just not, it just doesn't rate as highly for me personally as the tarot, even though I've designed one myself and I have a few that I like. But of all of them, this one is my favorite. But like an old friend, but still I have to tearfully wave goodbye as my house burns down. Now we're going to get to those top 5. And at one point, this was number 1 on my list of my favorite decks. So some of you will be surprised because this was like a soul deck. It's the Maraon Tarot. It's still in the top 5. I would still save it from a fire. And I would save this because this is some of my favorite backs of cards. The cardstock was from MPC, so it's wonderful. And it's inclusive, and it's sort of muted kind of pastel colors, very kind of summery, warm climate feel, but just really, really kind of soothing and comforting, like a big hug. And, you know, when I don't want things too harsh, that I need a little bit of a soft touch in a reading, this needs to be there. So, you know, I may cry over my entire collection burning with the building, but I will have this deck to hold on and treasure till the end of time. Number 4. This is a deck. The jury's still out on this, so you might wonder, well, why is it in your top 5 if you feel that way? It's because it's such an unusual deck, and I've been using it non-stop since I got it a couple weeks ago. It's called the Vintage Tarot. And again, it's that sort of matte stock, which is not a favorite. I much prefer if this were on linen. But it's not too thick. And it uses vintage imagery, not all by the same art source, because they're a little bit different. But they go well enough together, and the scenes are really colorful and intriguing, and I've really been enjoying it. I can't say I've had the best readings from it lately, but I've been a little bit unfocused when I sit down to read. So I think I'm just not pulling the right cards. You know, I have to figure out what's going on with that, why I'm not tuning in or connecting to the system in a way that's giving me the best cards. I think I'm just too distracted when I'm doing cards to really focus my attention. But I love that these look antique-y. They look like, you know, a Marseille deck, which I don't have really in my top 5. No Tarot de Marseille. But it has a similar kind of feel for me of that era of decks. So I really love this currently. Again, it may be a little rash of me to decide on this being one of my top 5 to save, but if the building burned this week, this would go. Next on the list, where are we? Number 3, working backwards, is, well, I guess it would have to be the Old Fellow Tarot, which is a rebranding of the Keishobu Tarot, which is Rider-Waite type imagery that also looks like Marseille style artwork. And I love these for the size of the card. They're kind of playing card size. And this reads really well for me because it's very similar to Rider-Waite Smith. And so that has always read well for me. So there we have it, the Old Fellow Tarot. That's number 3. And you might ask, well, if that's number 3 and it's close to the Rider-Waite Smith imagery, why do you need a Rider-Waite Smith in the top 5? But I mean, this was sort of the original inspiration for my whole collection. And this is an unusual version of it that I got specially made. I had a hard time actually choosing which version of Rider-Waite Smith I would pick, because I love the Centennial in a tin version. I love the size of it. I love that it's in a tin. Don't like the copyrights on it, but I love the vintage quality of the imagery. And then I also was looking at, I been carrying around with me a pocket-sized version of the CS Tarot, but that has different backgrounds from the original. I also have a Tarot Original 1909, which I like the sort of pocket size, and this doesn't have the copyrights on it. But I ended up choosing this one. Of all my RWS ones, this is my favorite one. It's very vintagey looking, and it's very close in comparison to the Centennial in terms of that kind of vintage look. The borders are whiter, but there's no copyright. But and I'm not really sure it would matter which version of Rider-Waite-Smith I kept in my top 5 as I ran out the door. I'm partial to this one as my favorite, but they're only like a hair apart, you know, in decision making about them. As long as the line work is sharp and clear and clean and the colors are appealing, it pretty much works for me. So that's the one that I love. And of course, everyone could predict the whole process of studying tarot for me led up to me finding out more about cards and about tarot by creating my own deck. And so I have a bond with my own deck, the Open Face Tarot, like no other deck that I have, even though it's only 22 major cards. I mean, if I had to pick one to run out of the house with, this would be the one. It's just, I know others wouldn't relate to it in the same way. It's just very special to me. I've designed maybe 6 decks now, and I could easily let all the others go. But this was the first one, and there's like a bond there that is just too powerful in a sort of a psychic way that I can't seem to get past it. And it always reads well for me. It always helps guide me. So that's the Open Face Tarot. That's my number 1. So, as painful as that was, I am dying to see what you would pick. Your building's burning down. You're running out of the house with your 5 favorite decks. You're lucky to be able to grab hold of 5 decks, because you'd probably grab your family and your pets and other things that are highly valuable to you, thinking, oh, I can let those tarot decks go, I can replace them. But remember, in this challenge, you can't replace any. They don't exist anymore anywhere in stores or trades. These are your last 5 forever. So, what have you come up with? How will you pare them down from your top 10, which is already a challenge, to your top 5 of all time to save from your burning building? I'm looking forward to see what you come up with. Tag me. Till next time, bye.